Hello friends, welcome to Top Brass, and today is day 16, and most of the people in India know that out of 736 districts, few districts have been put under total lockdown, which is in our own interest for the benefit of citizens, because the total lockdown would mean that rest of us are protected and the people who are inside the lockdown will be taken care of by the authorities. So I think while this is going on, the lockdown situation, whether it is a partial lockdown or a total lockdown across India, I think we need to keep our motivation levels up. We have to ensure that we are working for the nation, for the world community, for the entire humanity in some form or the other. So with this, I would like to call Neville, who can give us more information about this word called motivation. Good morning, Neville.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. Day 16, motivation levels are probably getting a little low. So you're absolutely right. Motivation, what is it? And I'm going to ask the question to everyone, but unfortunately, the only person I've got on the screen at the moment, CK, is you. So what motivates you?
Well, I have work cut out for myself. I have a routine which I follow. I don't think about anything else. Well, I want to be aware of what is going on, but awareness is good, but I need to carry on with my routine, so which motivates me.
So that's good. So as part of that routine, there are elements in that routine that give you a little smile, make you feel good inside, get you into that thought process where time flies by because you're so in the zone. You're so focused on what you do. And the problem with all of this is it's difficult to explain because we don't take time to find out what really motivates us. And you can ask this question to anybody, and the answer that a lot of people will give, especially young people, ultimately they will say, well, it's money. The more money I've got, the more I can do. Which is sort of a funny thing, really, because over your life, if you have a good career, you earn more money later on in your life and you've got less to do with it. So in some respects, we should live our life in reverse, so we have all the money we've got at the beginning, and then we live our life to the full when we're quite young, and then we buckle down and we get on with delivering all of that money for someone else to live their life. But unfortunately, that isn't the way the world works. But that might be an interesting thing for governments to think about, wouldn't it? But let's not go there for the moment. So, motivation, it's a real funny one, because if money is at the top of your motivation list, then I'm going to say you've got it really wrong. Because money is just a facilitator. So you need to think about what really motivates you. And the likelihood is, over time, that might change. So you've got a young family, you've got a dog, that's all out of choice, whether we like it or not, that was a choice. And we find motivation in all of those things that are around us. And I'm sure when your dog comes over to you, for a cuddle, or to say, I need a leak and I do need to go for a walk, there's a bit of motivation going on in there, although we don't really understand what's going on. So here we go. Let's look at motivation. And you and I have done this before, CK. Here's a pen. It's not a particularly special pen. If I look on the side, yep, sure enough. What word do you think is on the side of this pen?
It must be a Bic.
It must be a Bic. Exactly. It looks like a Bic. It must be a Bic. And I'm afraid you can't see it, but it does actually say, if I put it there, you can almost work it out. It says Bic. Anyway, it's pretty synonymous to a Bic. It's been copied by thousands and thousands of other companies, but this is indeed a real Bic. It's got that little person by the side with a little hand, you know. So does that, using that pen, does that make you feel good?
Yeah, when I'm not thinking about anything else, if I'm thinking about doing my work, any pen would do.
Any pen will do, okay? But now, CK, I'm going to show you a pen that I know you love. You love to use. You know what's coming. We haven't practiced this, but you do know what's coming, don't you? And I'm not going to show you the pen. I'm just going to show you the symbol. You see the symbol?
Yes,
So here you go. Which pen do you want, CK? Which pen would you like?
Both of them. No, I tell
But you'd like the Mont Blanc, wouldn't you? You really like the Mont Blanc.
I do, but my reason is different. I want to use Mont Blanc when I'm probably in front of you, and I want to show off, because I'm eventually want to show off basically. So I want to not use Bic, but I like to use Mont Blanc.
Absolutely. Now, motivation. We can actually start to work out what motivates us. Okay, this is very functional. Doesn't make me feel good at all. This makes me feel good. Motivation comes from what makes you feel good. You know, I've had this pen for best part of 35 years. It has memories. I can think every time I use it, I think back to the time when it was given to me. So those are my motivational things. And I won't pick up that pen every day, by the way, you know, not least to the fact that the refills are a lot more expensive than this one. So I will use this on a far more regular basis. But when I pick this up, my thought processes are perhaps a little different. Okay, so now we're talking about real motivational issues. And I could see the smile on your face, you know. It brings up something inside. You may have thought about a time when you were given your first Mont Blanc pen and how special that felt.
You know, I would like to share a real life incident with you on this very subject.
Go ahead.
When I started my career, I mean, I was a young professional working for a company. I had a colleague of mine. So we didn't have that much of a salary. We were having fun. We were doing a little bit of savings, but we didn't have that much of money to buy, say, a Mercedes or a very good house or stuff like that. So we were having our fun. I used to ride a motorcycle. I had a Royal Enfield with me. So I used to ride all over the place. But there's a friend of mine whom I remember very clearly. So he and his wife saved money, and while we were having fun, spending all our money in various activities, these guys didn't do that because they were motivated by one thing. With just 5 or 6 years in their career, they were able to buy a Mercedes. And then when some of us asked him, "Hey, what are you doing? I mean, you're spending all your money in a Mercedes." In fact, in the beginning of this video, you mentioned about what motivates you. I remember that person because he said something very profound, which I cannot forget. He said, "Look, I want to enjoy today. I want to ride Mercedes today. I don't want to become old when I'm not able to drive and buy expensive Mercedes and give it to my chauffeur. So I don't want that. I want to drive. I want to ride. I want to have fun." So this is amazing. I mean, I think that person, a friend of mine, was so clear very early on in his career.
And it's brilliant. And some people are, and they never lose it. And I bet if you go back to that person today, you know, perhaps you do on a regular basis, you know they haven't lost it. And more importantly, they've built on it. So motivation, what you need to do is to work out what really motivates you. And the key thing here is, although it may motivate you, it may not motivate someone else. And equally, although what you put down on your list, because what I'm asking you to ask you to do today is to write down a list of everything that motivates you. Although it may be on the list, so family motivates me. It's not my number one primary motivator, perhaps, but it might be for somebody else. The point is, likely is that we will all have very similar lists. But here's the difference. What you need to do is put your list together and just pick up the 10 main motivators and then write down the reason why. And when you write down the reason why, use the word feel. How does it make me feel? So the Mont Blanc, how does that make me feel? The Bic, how does that make me feel? Because motivation is really how our feelings are affecting us. Now you can see in the background, it's been changing, not much today because the sun is really out and I've left it there quite deliberately. Normally I would shut the flame. You can see the banner behind me. One is bright sunlight. And if you look closely and you know much about pop-up banners, you can actually see down the middle, just along that line there, that's the bar that's holding the banner up. Okay? It's not hidden. It's not artificial. You can see it. That's reality. Look at that sun. Now, that motivates me because the sun's smiling. And guess what? Even at night when it's dark, the sun is still smiling. It's just around the other side of the earth. Just not smiling. Exactly. It's just that we're in darkness, because you know the earth rotates. It comes out. The sun comes out in the morning and goes to bed in the evening. No, it doesn't. It's there permanently at the center of the universe. So write down all those things that motivate you and then put down the reason why and focus on the feelings because feelings really drive us. And then what you can do with your team, do the same thing. Get them to write down what motivates them. And if you've got a good relationship with them, and by now, believe you me, on day 16, you should have been building that relationship, they'll share it with you and they'll tell you the reasons why. And as soon as you know what motivates them, you can help what they do every day reinforce that motivation. And then what's going to happen? So if I motivate you to do something in your business, CK, what are you going to do? You're going to do more because it's really enjoyable, or you're going to do less?
Well, I'm going to do obviously more.
Absolutely, obviously. I mean, this isn't rocket science, And then by doing more, guess what? You'll get more enjoyment out of it, and it'll be more motivating. This is really complex engagement theory, okay? But the more engaged I am, the more productive I be. And engagement comes from, what am I motivated by? So today's letter, motivation. And our motivation separates us from everybody else. And I'm going to use your little phrase you love using. It gets you out of being me too. Because we're all humans, but you don't want to be a me too. Your organization, your business doesn't want to be a me too. You want to stick out. And part of sticking out is people understand who you are, what motivates you. And the other little phrase we use sometimes is people buy from people. And that gets you out of the me too, which you and I have run, several online programs of this, and it's really refreshing. But the key thing today is let's get motivated. Write down your top 10 things that motivate you, but more importantly, put down the reason why. and focus on your feelings. How does this make you feel? And then you can reorganize it and maybe come up with a slightly different variation on your 10. And then ask your team to do exactly the same thing. And then share it amongst your team. So everyone realizes that we can all be motivated together on a common purpose. So it's a really, really important word that little understood, unfortunately.
In fact, you have given a great idea. I am going to run this with my team. In fact, what I am thinking is I will run a poll asking these 10 things, what motivates you most, and then we'll see how we can engage the people by and large. And it's a great idea, Neville. I think thank you very much for sharing this idea with us. I think it's a great idea to engage people.
And it works.
Yes, Neville. So thank you for sharing this today, and we will catch up with a new word and new information tomorrow. You have a good day. Be safe.
Be safe and enjoy it out there, people, because this is not going to last forever.
Certainly. So see you tomorrow, Neville. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.